Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm bringing you a book haul. I think I've got about 10 or 11 books to talk to you about today, all adult fiction that have come onto my shelves pretty recently. Some of them you will have heard me talk about on the channel before. After a backlog of not really talking to you very much about the books that were coming on to my shelves, I've gradually been catching up on telling you all about the books that have come onto my shelves this year in 2023, and now we are going to be talking about some fiction books, and I'm going to kick things off with a book you've probably already heard me talk about. It's one of my favorite books that I've read so far this year, and that is The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. This is an absolutely brilliant book. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on it, I will leave the wrap up where I spoke about this linked in the cards and in the description. But this is a book that is mainly about the friendship between Rachel and James and the intensity of that friendship following them meeting in the bookstore where they worked and then deciding to move in together, and just how intimate and connected that friendship was and how formative it was, and also the impact of one of Rachel's professors, Dr. Byrne, becoming this weird kind of third party in the relationship, and how gradually over the course of the book Dr. Byrne's life becomes entangled with Rachel and James's life. Such a brilliant book, really nuanced characters. As I said, I will leave my full review linked if you want to hear more of my thoughts, but just absolutely brilliant. Another book you may have heard me talk about a couple of times, although I've not got around to reading it yet as of me filming this video, and that is The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson, which is the second book in Juno Dawson's kind of Coven witchy series for adults. It's the follow-up to Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which is a series all about the UK government department of witches who are tasked with aiding the government in any supernatural matters, but also protecting the tradition of witchcraft. Completely brilliant book, really excited to read the second book in the series. I also have Preloved by Lauren Bravo. So this is a book that is about charity shops. I mean, it's about more than that. It is about a woman who is in her mid-30s and she feels like her life isn't going down the path that all of her friends have kind of been going down, which is kind of like married, babies, moving to the suburbs. And she's starting to feel quite lonely as people move in different directions in their lives. She's been made redundant. She just really feels like her life isn't connected. And I think through the people that she meets in this charity shop and the items that she feels connections to, she begins to feel more connected with her life. I am a big thrift shopper. I love a charity shop, so I'm really intrigued to see like what kind of role the charity shop plays in her rebuilding her life. Next, I have Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane. This is a female romance which follows Ellie in the aftermath of her having this Christmas meet cute with this really great girl on Christmas Eve. It was in a bookstore, like how much more cute can you get? But following this meet cute, there is a moment of betrayal. She also loses her dream job in animation, so following all of that she feels really adrift. She then starts working in a local coffee shop and she starts like fake dating the shop's landlord because of this kind of marriage of convenience. And it's then when the landlord, the guy that she is fake marrying, introduces her to her sister that she realizes that the sister is the meet cute from Christmas last year. I love fake dating. I love a meet cute in a bookshop. I love a female romance. This is just ticking a lot of boxes for me. I think it's probably one that I'm gonna have to keep until like the Christmas season, but really excited. It sounds super cute. Lady Oracle by Margaret Atwood. I have had quite a hit and miss relationship with Margaret Atwood's writing. I think I've either kind of really loved the novels that I've read from her or just like really not got them, really not understood them. This one is about a woman who kind of has multiple identities, has continuously kind of reinvented herself, moved to different places, I think changed her name, and this is about her having to then stage her own death. Sounds a bit mad. As I said, I've had mixed experiences with Margaret Atwood's writing, but I'm actually really keen to collect all of her books in these editions, so I kind of just got this because I love the idea of having all of her books in these editions lined up. I am a shallow book collector, okay? Wahala by Nikki May. So I love the cover of this book. I'm just also loving, like, I don't know what exactly color you call this. Is it like teal? I love a teal book. So this is about three women who have a lifelong friendship. And like many books that focus on those kind of female relationships, each woman's life has gone in a slightly different way, each with its own like positives and negatives. Then enter Isabel, a fourth woman in this friendship group who seems to be bringing out the best in each of these women. But the more she intervenes in their lives, the more kind of chaos ensues and cracks begin to form in the lifelong friendships between the three original women. I'm feeling this has like some dark themes to it, so I'm very intrigued to see what direction it goes in, and I love books that center around female friendship, so I've quite high hopes for this one. So Happy for You by Celia Lesky. This is another one that I think has like a dark element to it. So this is about Robin and Ellie, another lifelong friendship. They have been through everything together, from Robin coming out to Ellie's father passing away. But when Ellie asks Robin to be her maid of honor, Robin is pretty reluctant to do this. Robin's happy for Ellie, but she just hates weddings, and she also hates the guy that Ellie is engaged to. Reluctantly, Robin decides to agree to be the maid of honor, but as it creeps closer and closer to the big day, Robin is realizing that Ellie is willing to do anything for her marriage, and there's definitely like a dark undercurrent there, so I'm intrigued to see where it goes. Kink, which is edited by R.L. Kwan and Garth Greenwell. This is a collection of short stories, an anthology from lots of different writers. Some of them I've read from before, and some of them I've never read anything from them. And this is a collection that is, as I'm sure you can maybe guess from the title, a door into the world of desire. So these stories are portraying love, longing, kink, BDSM, all that good stuff, and it's meant to be a really subversive anthology. So I'm intrigued to see how I get on with this. With an anthology with lots of different writers in it, I'm sure that there's some that I'm gonna like more than others, some that I will think is a hit, and some that I think are misses, but could be a great way to discover new writers as well. 7 X's by Lucy Vine. This is just so up my street. So this is about Esther, who is kind of like a young woman going through the dating scene, feeling quite disenchanted about it all, and then she comes across this old article from the noughties about dating, and that article says that there are 7 kinds of people that you date before you meet the one. So there's the first love, the work mistake, the friend with benefits, the overlap, the mischance, the bastard, and the serious one. And it is then that Esther realizes that all of her exes fit into these archetypes perfectly, and she is convinced that one of those exes is like the one that got away, that she missed the one in amongst all of those exes. So she is deciding to get back in contact with them and find out which one is the one that she's meant to be with. It just sounds chaotic and such like a bad idea, and I love it. These final 2 books are the fault of Katie and Jenny, because they took me to Book Bar, and Book Bar is possibly my favourite bookshop in London. I'm obsessed with it, but I don't go there very often because it's in the north of London. But every time I go there, I need to buy something because I love it there. So I picked up The Situationship by Taylor Dior Rumble. This is one of my most anticipated releases for the year. It is the first romance book from Murky Books, which is the imprint that is overseen by Stormzy. I love a rom-com, and I feel like we need more rom-coms that look at like the idea of a situationship. I have had my fair share of situationships before I found the actual love of my life, and I just feel like we need to talk about the situationship more, like this in-between thing where you're definitely not friends, but like you're not official, and it's weird. You're dating, you're not fully committed to each other, but you kind of are. So very excited to read this. I think this is going to be a 5-star read for me. I think I'm going to absolutely love it. And then I also picked up a really dinky book, like because it's so small, I justified it to myself as purchase, and it's called This Is Pleasure by Mary Gateskill. I know people don't like being read blurbs on BookTube, but I had never heard of this book before, and then I read the blurb and it just sounded absolutely brilliant, so that's what I'm gonna do. Deal with it. Quinn and Margot have been friends for more than 20 years. Quinn is an extrovert and essentialist who thrives on flirtation and ambiguity. I bet Quinn's been in some situationships. He is at his happiest when encouraging intimate confidences from the women he meets. Always clear with him about the boundaries of their own relationship, until now, Margot has looked at his behaviour with a mixture of ambivalence and affection. But when Quinn's actions are held up against a new light and his life begins to unravel, Margot tries to work towards a deeper understanding of her friend, the damage he might have caused, and the loyalty he deserved. This Is Pleasure is a masterpiece of fiction that looks unflinchingly at the difficult and necessary debates of our present moment. It rejects moral certainties while honouring the ambiguity and vulnerability at the heart of all human relationships. Does that just not sound brilliant? And because it's so small, hopefully it won't be on my TBR for too long. Okay, so they are all of the books that I'm going to talk to you about today. Do let me know if you've read any of these books and what you've thought of them. Have you bought any books recently that you're really excited to read? Leave me a comment down below and let's talk about some books. If you want to let me know you're here but you don't have anything specific to say, the emoji I want you to leave me is some sort of flower emoji, because there's lots of flowers on this cover of So Happy For You. If you want to connect with me elsewhere, all of my socials are linked down below in the description, as well as some of my previous videos if you want to check them out. That's it for me today. I hope you're doing well, and I will speak to you very soon.